Hey, it's me, Rishikesh Kannan, popularly known as Rishi K. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit the bell icon now to get the latest videos and get taken into a world of entertainment, culture, sport, business, and current affairs.
I think it's incredibly sweet as a father myself to know that you're actually pregnant with your second child when this film was being made.
Yeah,
So,
the
so there's a
entire
bit.
song of the film is shot when I was pregnant.
It's a story to tell him when he grows up in a couple of years.
Yeah, that he's already been now in this film, and hopefully, like everybody, he also worked out through shooting like 14 hours a day all night, and I was pregnant, and so he was actually very brave because in my stomach, I'm sure it must have been like I was up all night, and I was almost 6 months pregnant.
Is that very difficult to do? Because I'm just seeing what Alia is doing. You women are really super women. I can't even imagine as a man what you kind of go through. She's promoting Darlings. It's up for release. She's pregnant. You filmed through pregnancy. Is that incredibly difficult to do? Or what would you like to tell pregnant women out there? Listen, you can work if your gynac tells you. Yeah.
I think if you're taking, eating well, hydrating well, you have the gumption to do it. It keeps you kind of going. It keeps you kind of excited, and what makes you happy. I think ultimately the mother has to be happy in what she's doing, and it working and doing that makes her happy. Like I was extremely happy, even though it was long hours, but I was really like happy doing it. And my gynac was like, that's the most important. Just hydrate, eat well, be happy, and that's it.
Kareena Kapoor Khan joins me on the eve of the release of Laal Singh Chaddha. Great to see you. How are you doing?
Good, very well. Thank you.
I love the sight of a well-stocked library. Are those your books, Saif's books, or a combination of the two?
Well, I think that most of them are Saif's.
Yeah, he's a voracious reader. We all know that. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
To me, in the original Forrest Gump, Jenny was really one of the most exciting characters simply because of the upheaval that she goes through in her personal life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we don't want to give any spoilers away, but a lot of people are actually wondering whether we'll be able to show all those facets of Jenny being messed up. I mean, she's a hippie. She gets addicted to substances at one point in time. Have you had to tone it down for the India adaptation, Kareena?
So we have adapted it very differently to Indian, audiences, but we still kept her as grey, as beautiful as ever. Rupa's arc is, in fact, the strongest and the largest in the film. Of course, it's more exciting because in the Indian version, you'll see exactly how her hardships are, why it is, and of course, then finally what happens. And Lal and Rupa, by the end of it, you are pining for them. You want them to be together. And that's what, this is the Indian version Atul has added in this film, is the emotional quotient is so high that I think that, and could probably make a stone cry. Everybody would be, have a tear in the cinema. I'm quite sure of that.
How many times have you seen the original?
Original I've seen many times, but back in the day, I never revisited the film after being offered the film.
Wow, you didn't. So you purposely chose not to revisit it, huh?
Yeah, I didn't revisit the film. I just kind of,
because you said you'd want to do your own thing. Why would you want to watch Robin Wright? Yeah.
And when I was narrated Atul's version by Advait, I was just blown. I was like, oh my God, I don't want to revisit the original because this is it's just taken it to the next level. It kind of made you just feel like, oh my God. So, I didn't ever go back. And now I don't think I could because I'm just so invested in Lal and Rupa.
Correct. Also, the beauty of this film is this wonderful simpleton, slightly dim-witted character who everybody falls for, Were there moments when you're actually filming, normally actors can be rational enough not to take their emotions on set, but were there moments when your heart actually melted when you were doing these scenes? Because some of them could have turned out to be very intense considering the nature of Lal's character.
Yeah. No, of course. I think each scene, especially the scenes with Rupa and Lal, are pretty heart-wrenching. And we would all be on set. Like sometimes we'd everybody on set would tear up because it was just obviously the way Aamir was performing it, and you kind of so much rooting for Rupa's character that hope she's okay, and it's just so beautifully crafted. And also it is an original adaptation of Forrest Gump. Paramount is involved. Eric Roth's credit is there in the titles for the screenplay. So it's not like we're trying to copy. We are trying to do the Indian version of Forrest Gump. There are two different actors there, two different actors here, different time altogether. But I think it's been very brave of Aamir and Advait to kind of pick to do Forrest Gump, because like you said, it is pretty iconic, and I am very confident that I think this will be a pretty iconic film.
Yeah, just like I'm so curious about how Jenny's character, which is Rupa's character, is going to pan out. I'm thinking in the original, Forrest meets Elvis Presley. So what is going to be the Indian equivalent to that? There are all these questions. There's beautiful questions.
We're going to try and get the best for you all to watch, and it's super fun.
That's sweet. It's also a wonderful ensemble cast. I remember seeing Baba's character, which in this particular case is being played by Naga Chaitanya.
Yeah.
You want to just pull out some other characters apart from Rupa and Lal that you
the
thought were
mother's
just
character
spectacular?
is so important.
Yeah.
Mona's character, and she's such a wonderful actor, and like she's done so amazingly well, in the part. There are amazing. We have Manav Vij coming from time to time. There are people that are going to keep coming, because obviously we're seeing him through, probably every decade, every 5 years, where he is, what is. So the way they've molded the important parts of, in India, and the iconic points in India that have taken place, I think it's going to be pretty deadly. I think people will just be like, oh my God, you need guts to make this.
Is it difficult to sign you, Kareena, after so many years in the business?
No. I'm clearly not, considering I screen tested for the film. I don't think it's pretty difficult to sign me.
Yeah, we're all a bit shocked when you heard that on Karan's show, saying that you screen tested for it. But actually, I think you're pretty proud of it, considering
I'm very
that.
happy about it. After 20 years, I'm sure maybe he had some doubt that I've not done a particular emotion or character that he hasn't seen of me in, my career. And it is not something that, like he always was like, I'm never trying to put down your talent, because, I know it is. He's like, I just want to be sure, which I thought was quite cool of him to be honest, and say that to someone.
Yeah, but for the record, you're not difficult to sign. I mean, you will listen to people, or you're at a stage when you're still very choosy and very picky about what you do.
No, now because I'm just doing 1 or 2 films at a time. I'm not doing as much. I'm just doing like 2 films in a year, because I'm busy with the children and I can't give that much time. And also then I don't want to give that much time. So I want to do 2 of some 2 amazing movies.
I think it's incredibly sweet as a father myself to know that you're actually pregnant with your second child when this film was being made.
Yeah,
So-
the
so there's a
entire
bit-
song of the film is shot when I was pregnant.
It's a story to tell him when he grows up in a couple of years.
Yeah, that he's already been now in this film. And hopefully, like everybody, he also worked out. He was shooting like 14 hours a day all night, and I was pregnant. And so he was actually very brave, because in my stomach, I'm sure must have been like I was up all night, and I was almost 6 months pregnant.
Is that very difficult to do? Because I'm just seeing what Alia is doing. You women are really super women. I can't even imagine as a man what you kind of go through. She's promoting Darlings. It's up for
Yeah.
release. She's pregnant. You film through pregnancy. Is that incredibly difficult to do? Or what would you like to tell pregnant women out there? Listen, you can work if your gynec tells you. Yeah.
I think if you're taking eating well, hydrating well, you have the gumption to do it. It keeps you kind of going. It keeps you kind of excited, and what makes you happy. I think ultimately the mother has to be happy in what she's doing. And it working and doing that makes her happy. Like I was extremely happy, even though if it was long hours, but I was really like happy doing it. And my gynec was like, that's the most important. Just hydrate, eat well, be happy, and that's it.
I'm not going to ask you how much Aamir has changed since you first met him on the set of Andaz Apna Apna, because that's a mighty long time ago. But, considering Talash and Three Idiots happened like 2009, 2012, and now, they're fairly recent. Has he changed since the last couple of times you worked for him? Has he become more intense about his process? Some people become intense with age, some people loosen up with age.
No, Aamir is I think Aamir is pretty consistent. It's just that he truly is an institution in his own right. So he kind of respects art and cinema to such a level that for him everything has to be perfect. So Aamir has, I think I can literally see the growth in Aamir Khan. Like it's right there. Because no one really knows the real Aamir Khan. He's always transformed himself on screen. You never really see him just play a character. And I think with this film, this was like his passionate kind of movie. He's been waiting like, almost 14 years to make this movie. And I think he's given it his all. And if there's anyone that could do Tom Hanks's part, and it's not because I'm in the film. I think it could just be Aamir. And when you see the film, you'll understand, like, okay, fine, that's what he's done. So he truly has grown. I mean, he's just taken it to the next level.
Has he become more chilled out from Talash and Three Idiots, like off the set? Is he enjoying himself a little more?
Quite chilled out. He's very chilled off the set. I think he's someone who's like, he loves to like be, like staying up with the crew and like, chilling, chatting, playing games. Aamir is very relaxed. He's not like, I'm whatever, or I'm into the character.
The music is spectacular. I mean, I love the fact that he released the audio before he released the video. And the fact that, Mohan Kannan's song and a couple of other romantic songs have really just gone off the charts. Would you have some favorites in terms of the music?
I think the entire album, Preetham, has honestly taken it to the next level. I love it. I think, in fact, everybody has loved the album. After a long time, it's an album that, you can kind of play, and like if the song changes, you're not like, okay, going back to that particular song that you like. Because it just kind of, it just kind of flows. So, I mean, I think all the songs are just brilliant.
Would you have a personal favorite?
I like the romantic song, Phir Raat Na Aayegi. I think that is something that I just love that song.
When you get a script in your hand, do you read it from start to finish, or you just read your portions? How does it work as far as that is concerned?
No, I read the script. I mean, I read, and like honestly, by page 30, if it's not exciting, I don't bother. 50 pages have gone by. Something should have happened in the film, na? Like something nice, fun, emotional, something to grip me in, like, honestly, like the first 20, 30 minutes. So I mean, if it's in honestly 30, 40 pages, you kind of give it that ride, and then you're like, okay, if it's not going anywhere, no point.
And this is a whole new wave of actors who have suddenly straddled Bollywood. You've seen both generations. You seem to be having a lot of fun with the newer brigade. It's challenging for you as an actress, obviously.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've just worked with Vijay and Jaideep, and I think that it's just been like an amazing experience, because I worked with Aamir last, and now I'm working with this. So for me, it's like I am having a lot of fun kind of, working with different people. And I think they come from a different, realm of performance, which is so natural and so amazing that, like, when I look at them, I'm like, oh my God, like I'm getting to learn something. So the whole process is so much fun. Like when I see them perform, I honestly need to be on my toes. So I'm like, it's an exciting time actually, for me to take up these roles and work with different people at this point in my life.
And in terms of turning producer, I mean, there are two kinds of producers. One who's a pure creative producer, and the other who gets into the nitty-gritties of the money and the finances.
No.
How do you view yourself?
No, I don't understand anything of the nitty-gritties of production. So I'm definitely going to be only involved in the creative side. And I've never really had interest in like setting up a production house or, for doing that production kind of job. That's not my area of expertise.
Listen, this must have been an exhausting film to make, very exhausting but pleasurable at the same time. I know you were joking. Akshay Kumar finishes as 4 or 5 films at the time that Aamir makes those films. But just the shooting schedule and the length of it, and what experience that was in terms of shooting in various cities, Kareena.
So I shot in Delhi and Chandigarh. My portions, and Amritsar were basically that portion. When she's there in the film. But I know for Aamir and Advait, it was very exhausting because they've shot from Ladakh to Kanyakumari because of the run. But I think the entire process was exhausting because when you see Rupa's arc also, it was kind of very different. It was very it was heart-wrenching, and everything, all her emotions are intensified, everything is very intense of her, so that was very exhausting more than anything.
My last question is there are there any travel plans on the anvil now that the release has happened, or is it going to be all work? Or when was the last great holiday that you took?
We've just come back from, because Taimur had a summer break, so we just came back from his summer break. So now is the time that we're all, I think both Saif and me are just getting back to work, and the kids, Taimur's got school. So not till his next holidays, because now we're dependent on him for holidays.
But how was that one? Was it England? Was it the UK?
Yeah, we traveled a little bit in England and then Italy and stuff like that. And obviously it was amazing because, Saif has so many friends back then, which we hadn't met them for like almost 3 years. So that was it was like fun. And now we're back here and back to like work and shooting and stuff. So we'll wait till our next break.
Lovely. Thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. All the best for Laal Singh Chaddha.
Thank you. Enjoy the film.
Can't wait to see you as Rupa. Cheers. Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.